In a shocking display of prejudice, two police officers stopped and handcuffed Major General Aisha Brooks, a decorated black female officer, mistaking her for a suspect in a routine traffic stop. What followed was a call to the Pentagon that not only freed her but dismantled the careers of those who dared to challenge her authority. Major General Aisha Brooks drove through the quiet streets of Arlington, Virginia, on a crisp autumn evening in 2024. Her silver SUV hummed softly as she navigated the familiar route from her office at the Pentagon to her home. At 47, Aisha was a trailblazer, a black woman who had risen through the ranks of the U.S. Army to become one of the highest-ranking female officers in the military. Her career was a testament to resilience, intelligence, and an unyielding commitment to justice. Tonight, though, she was just another driver, her mind occupied with the day's meetings and the speech she was preparing for a veterans conference. As she approached a stoplight on Jefferson Davis Highway, blue and red lights flashed in her rearview mirror. A police cruiser pulled up behind her, its siren blaring briefly before falling silent. Aisha's brow furrowed. She hadn't been speeding, and her vehicle was in perfect order. Registration up to date, tags valid. She pulled over to the shoulder, her hands resting calmly on the steering wheel, as she'd done countless times in her life. Growing up in a predominantly black neighborhood, she had learned early how to navigate encounters with law enforcement. Stay calm, keep your hands visible, and don't make sudden movements. Two officers emerged from the cruiser. Officer Daniel Hargrove, a stocky man with a buzz cut, approached the driver's side, while his partner, Officer Michael Tate, stood near the rear of Aisha's SUV. Hargrove's flashlight beam cut through the dusk, illuminating the interior of her car. Aisha lowered her window, her expression composed but alert. "Good evening, ma'am," Hargrove said, his tone clipped. "License and registration, please." Aisha nodded, reaching slowly for her wallet. "May I ask why I was pulled over, officer?" Her voice was steady, professional, with the measured cadence of someone accustomed to command. Hargrove's eyes narrowed slightly. "We'll get to that. License and registration now." Aisha handed over her military ID alongside her driver's license. The ID clearly displayed her rank, Major General, United States Army. Hargrove glanced at it, then at her, his expression unreadable. Tate, standing a few feet away, shifted his weight, his hand resting on his holster. "Step out of the vehicle, ma'am," Hargrove said, his voice hardening. Aisha's jaw tightened, but she complied, stepping out with deliberate calm. She stood tall, her posture reflecting years of military discipline. At 5 feet 8 inches, she carried herself with an air of authority, her tailored blazer and slacks a stark contrast to the casual assumptions she sensed brewing in Hargrove's demeanor. "Is there a problem, officer?" Aisha asked again, her tone polite but firm. Hargrove didn't answer immediately. Instead, he exchanged a glance with Tate, who nodded slightly. "Turn around and place your hands behind your back," Hargrove ordered. Aisha's heart rate quickened, but her face remained impassive. "I'm a Major General in the United States Army," she said, her voice cutting through the tension. "I'd like to know why I'm being detained." Hargrove's lips curled into a faint smirk. "We got a report of a stolen vehicle matching this description. You fit the profile of a suspect we're looking for. Now turn around." Aisha's mind raced. A stolen vehicle. Her SUV was government-issued, meticulously maintained, and registered to her name. The profile comment stung, a thinly veiled reference to her race. She knew the statistics. Black drivers were disproportionately stopped, searched, and arrested compared to their white counterparts. But she also knew her rights, her rank, and the power she wielded. "I'm not turning around until you clarify the basis for this stop," Aisha said, her voice unwavering. "My vehicle is not stolen, and I'm not a suspect. Check the registration." Tate stepped closer, his hand still on his holster. "Ma'am, we don't have time for this. Comply or we'll make you comply." The threat hung in the air, but Aisha didn't flinch. She'd faced worse. Hostile interrogations in war zones, high-stakes negotiations with foreign dignitaries. These officers, she realized, had no idea who they were dealing with. But she also knew the danger of escalation. She took a deep breath, calculating her next move. "Very well," she said, turning slowly and placing her hands behind her back. The cold metal of handcuffs clicked around her wrists, and a wave of indignation surged through her. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was a power play, rooted in assumptions she'd fought against her entire life. Hargrove led her to the cruiser, where she sat in the back seat, her mind already working through the situation. She wasn't afraid, she was furious. But she knew anger alone wouldn't resolve this. She needed to act strategically, and she had resources most didn't. "Officer Hargrove," she said as he climbed into the driver's seat, "I'm giving you one chance to reconsider this. I'm a 2-star general. My office is at the Pentagon. You're making a mistake." Hargrove chuckled, glancing at Tate in the passenger seat. "A general, huh? Sure, lady. And I'm the Secretary of Defense." Tate laughed, but there was a nervous edge to it. Aisha's military ID sat on the dashboard, its embossed seal glinting under the cruiser's interior light. Hargrove ignored it, starting the engine and pulling onto the road toward the precinct. Aisha sat silently, her mind shifting to her next move. She had spent decades building a career defined by discipline and precision. She'd overseen operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, advised top brass on national security, and earned the respect of her peers through sheer competence. This moment, humiliating as it was, would not define her. But it would define the officers who thought they could treat her like a common criminal. At the precinct, Aisha was led to a holding area, still handcuffed. The desk sergeant, a middle-aged woman named Carla Ruiz, glanced up as Hargrove and Tate brought her in. Ruiz's eyes lingered on Aisha's military ID, then flicked to Hargrove. "What's this?" Ruiz asked, holding up the ID. "Routine stop," Hargrove said dismissively. "Stolen vehicle report. She claims she's some big-shot general." Ruiz's brow furrowed as she examined the ID more closely. "This says Major General Aisha Brooks, U.S. Army. You verified this?" Hargrove shrugged. "She's got a story. Doesn't mean it's true." Aisha, standing calmly despite the handcuffs, spoke up. "Sergeant Ruiz, I'd like to make a phone call." Ruiz hesitated, glancing between Aisha and the officers. "You're entitled to one," she said, nodding toward a phone on the desk. Hargrove scoffed. "You're wasting our time, lady." Aisha ignored him, her focus on Ruiz. "I'd prefer to make the call in private if possible." Ruiz, sensing something amiss, nodded. "Uncuff her," she told Hargrove. Hargrove's jaw tightened, but he complied, removing the handcuffs with a grudging twist. Aisha rubbed her wrists, then picked up the phone and dialed a number she knew by heart. The line rang twice before a crisp voice answered. "Office of General Raymond Carter, Joint Chiefs of Staff. How may I assist you?" "This is Major General Aisha Brooks," Aisha said, her voice calm but authoritative. "I need to speak with General Carter immediately." The room went quiet. Hargrove and Tate exchanged uneasy glances, while Ruiz's eyes widened slightly. The voice on the other end responded promptly. "Yes, ma'am. One moment." Seconds later, General Raymond Carter, a 4-star general and one of the most powerful figures in the U.S. military, came on the line. "Aisha, what's going on?" Aisha explained the situation with clinical precision. The traffic stop, the false claim of a stolen vehicle, the handcuffs, and the officer's refusal to verify her identity. Carter listened without interrupting, his silence heavy with growing anger. "Where are you now?" he asked when she finished. "Arlington County Police Department, Precinct 3, Aisha replied. "I'd appreciate your assistance." "Stay put," Carter said. "I'm handling this." Aisha hung up the phone and turned to face Hargrove and Tate. "You might want to start preparing your explanations," she said, her voice low but laced with steel. Hargrove's smirk faltered, but he doubled down. "You think a phone call's gonna scare us? We're doing our job." Ruiz, however, wasn't so dismissive. She pulled Hargrove aside, her voice low but urgent. You didn't run her ID through the system, did you? Hargrove shrugged. Didn't need to. Stolen vehicle matching description. She's just playing the victim. Ruiz shook her head, her expression grim. You better hope you're right, because if that ID checks out, you just detained a 2-star general without cause. Within 20 minutes, the precinct's atmosphere shifted. A black government